This script was written while the latest chapter was chapter 91. This video will have spoilers up until that point. You have been warned. Welcome back to the Best of Villain series, where we talk about the best villains that Shonen Jump has to offer. Today, we are talking about the antagonist of the Swordbearer assassination arc, that being Seiichi Samura. Now notice how I said antagonist and not villain, despite this being the Best of Villain series. I hesitate to call Samura a villain. He is very morally gray, where he will do what needs to be done in order to keep the peace. Samura, up until this point in the story, has been defined by the guilt he feels by being involved in the Seiichi War that happened prior to the series. To find out what drove him down this destructive path, we first have to go over his backstory. 19 years ago, there was a group of invaders from an island southeast of Japan. The invaders were citizens that were resistant to a rare stone known as the Datenseki, a powerful weapon that enhances one's powers to a devastating degree. To combat this, Kunishige Rokuhira created 6 enchanted blades, weapons forged through the Datenseki that was able to create all-powerful swords that can transcend theory. However, one of the swords that was entrusted to combat the invaders was to someone known as the Swordmaster. That Swordmaster was given the Shinichi, the strongest of the 6. Using the Shinichi, the Swordmaster ended up causing something known as the Malediction, a catastrophe that wiped out 200,000 people. Samura was one of these 6 swordbearers, wielding Tobimune, and was considered to be a war hero from the masses. However, he very much does not think that he is one. Because of the grief that he felt like he caused the 200,000 people to die, Samura got a divorce with his wife and was so ashamed that he could not even hold his own daughter, Iori, with his blood-stained hands and disappeared from her life. His wife got very sick and was dying, however, and Samura had to come back and take care of Iori. The two lived together, and a year later, Iori's mom passed away. Iori would go with Samura wherever and would lie to him what was happening at school and around her, as Samura was blind and couldn't see the secret hatred that all the civilians had towards him. You see, there are 2 camps in the story of Kagurabachi. There is one group of citizens that believe what happened to those invaders was just. Others think that it was incredibly inhumane, and the sword wielders, including Samura, are war criminals. Because of this, Iori would get picked on at school and their homes would be vandalized. Eventually, Yura, the leader of the Hishaku, a strong group of sorcerers, shows his face twice to Samura. First, to tell Samura that he had a prophecy that another malediction will occur in the future. And the second time, to recruit Samura, with Samura agreeing to help him and is able to keep the Hishaku in check at the same time. The Hishaku's main goal is to get Yura to use the Shinichi. That way, he is internally bound to the enchanted blade and no one else can use it. The issue is that the Swordmaster is the current wielder of the Shinichi, and he is locked away in prison and is extremely powerful, which is why they need Samura to kill the Swordmaster. Samura wants to remove all of the swordbearers, so he agrees. Samura's idea is that he would kill the Swordmaster, and thanks to Kunishige's putting in a failsafe into the contracts of the 6 enchanted blades, he was able to link all the other swordbearers to each other, so any of the other swordbearers would also die if the Swordmaster died. Once the Hishaku make their move in the story, Samura eventually confronts Udaha, wielder of the Kumeyuri, and kills him, severing his contract with the Kumeyuri. He then kills Chihiro, who tries to stop him, severing his contract with the Enten as well. You see, each of the swordbearers are linked to the enchanted blades. Since the enchanted blades were so powerful, Kunishige made it so that only one person can use it. The contract overrides their original sorcery powers, so that the contract will not go away until death. So Samura's goal is to sever the contracts with the swordbearers and seal away the blades, ensuring another malediction does not come to pass. Samura had a group of ninjas assigned to him known as the Masumi. They help Samura fight by removing any form of identity that is able to be picked up from any sense other than sight. Since Samura fights using echolocation, these ninja do not fight on his battlefield and thus are the only ones who can truly fight alongside him. The Masumi help Chihiro train in his swordsmanship and also aid in the recovery of Iori from the Hishaku in attempts to control Samura. Samura only asked one thing of them as ninjas during their time serving him, and that was to help remove Iori's memories so that they would forget each other and Iori couldn't be used as a hostage and instead can be safe and live a normal life. Samura post-Seiichi War is riddled with survivor's guilt. So far, everyone that we met that was a part of that war has been coping in different ways. For Samura, he could not stand to be anything but disgusted with himself. Whenever anyone praises Samura for his efforts, he is sure to correct them and say that he does not deserve their praise. To him, he did nothing heroic, but monstrous and irredeemable. He even ended up blinding himself to cutting himself off of worldly passions, but also because he could not even stand to be able to see a glimpse of the horrors of seeing him cut flesh. His guilt is what brings him to the conclusion of ensuring another malediction does not come to pass. In his eyes, he has all the power to stop whoever he wants, so he will make the ultimate sacrifice because he is merely a ghost remaining on the battlefield. Samura does not believe that anyone else should have to see what he did, that people should not experience the horrors of what occurred, and ultimately is too fearful of his daughter getting involved and used as a hostage, so he will root out all evil, whatever fits that definition, in his books. There is one last aspect that I want to talk to about Samura, and that is his blade, Tobimune. Aside from the Seiichi, each of the enchanted blades have 3 specific abilities. For the Tobimune, it is Crow, Owl, and Suzaku. Crow is an ability that allows Samura to spread out a bunch of crow feathers onto the battlefield. With it, he is able to teleport to any of them seamlessly. Owl is an ability that he has shown to be able to impose his spirit energy across a wide surface. In the time we saw him use it, he placed it all over the city. This allowed him to set up effectively a surveillance state for people using enchanted blades, as the moment someone would draw one, he would teleport and take them out. The last one is Suzaku, or Phoenix. The Phoenix is used to heal any injuries that Samura wants to. This does not seem to have a limit. He was able to use Suzaku to revive both Uraha and Chihiro after Samura killed them so that their internal contracts could be severed and be freed from the enchanted blades. He also used it to cure his blindness and cure the intoxication from Kumayuri's banquet ability. These 3 abilities have a lot of ties to Samura's character. Samura wanted to shoulder all of the pain and suffering from the Seiichi War by himself. He did not want to evolve the next generation, and his abilities reflect that. Owl was used so that he was able to ensure that no one was using enchanted blades on his watch. He became the authority to ensure that no one else tried to play hero. He used Crow to make sure that he was anywhere in the blink of an eye so that he was everywhere all at once. And he used Suzaku to remove the burden of his friends from the internal contract. Uraha even surmises that Samura would not be able to use the ability to revive himself, so he will take on eliminating the Swordmaster of the Seiichi and the Hishaku by himself. Luckily, Chihiro was able to show Samura that the future generation is not something to count out, and to instead allow them to help, as only the Enten, the only enchanted blade created after the Seiichi War, is able to break other enchanted blades. With this knowledge, and the show of Chihiro's determination and Iori's strength to break the seal, Samura finally gives in to his worldly passion and heals his eyes, and accepts the help to break the Seiichi with the Enten's ability. Much like the Phoenix, Samura finally revives into an incarnation for good and to face his fears, and that includes facing his daughter. Samura is such a well-written and handled character. His story has been him trapped in guilt and has caused immense suffering for him. But thanks to Chihiro's actions and determination, he was eventually able to reach Samura and hopefully have him stay on Chihiro's side. That's all I got. If you like what you heard, consider subscribing and liking. Other than that, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.